Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and this is coming to you from my home here in Cave Junction, Oregon. Tonight's message is Raymond Karchevsky, a modern-day Christ. Let me begin by saying that I, Raymond Karchevsky, simply state that I am a Christ, a simple man of truth, one who lives in our modern-day society, yet is not of it. I do not pander to others through storytelling or through using parables. My message is simple, direct, and powerful. It is designed to awaken the human populace to their true nature, which was lost to them when they sought to become civilized, to conform to man-made ideas which regulated their behavior and which has held sway in the human consciousness since the first society to emerge here on Earth. My message exposes the massive influence of prolific, satanic magical thinking, which has been imposed upon the minds of the masses throughout the world, through semantic attachments to words and concepts, a satanic malady which has captured the minds of the civilized man since the dawn of civilization. As most of you who are offended by my open and deliberate use of the word Christ attached to my name, I fully understand your upset. But now is the time for you to understand your upset. If you do not shut down this video from the fear of being exposed as a mere believer in fantasy, thinking, you shall feel the pain of spiritual ignorance, the acknowledgement that you have been led down the wrong path, a path which has carried you onto your own personal hell on earth. The word Christ is just a word, a concept, an illusion, which has taken on the aura of being sacred by those of you listening to this, those of you who have been conditioned to believe in such magical, satanic thinking myths as facts. You must keep in mind that the word is merely a reflection of truth, which always remains present in the eternal moment of now, the moment which is timeless, without beginning or end. However, through intellectual thinking, a devolution of consciousness from that of divine awareness, the direct perception of truth, man has voluntarily opted to fall from grace, to transform the moment of truth into the after moment, the memory, rote, learned, based illusion of the idea of truth. Ideas are not truth, for they are limited, while truth is whole. Ideas can never be truth, for they lack the wholeness of truth, the holistic, the holiness of truth. Civilized man and women are trained from birth to death to live in such intellectual after-moments, which they call reality. They know not truth, for they are incapable of resonating directly with the unique and unreplicatable resonance of holistic truth. Instead, what they share with other like-minded, codependent believers, what you unknowingly experience is the after-moment, time-bound, linear string of satanic intellectual consciousness based in limitation, duality, and opposition. Most of you have lost your ability to directly perceive truth in the eternal moment of now, to exercise your God-given gift of direct perception of divine awareness, which cuts through the accumulated mountain of false illusions which have been acquired through conditioning, and exposes directly the unabated, unadorned truth as fact. Such is the barrier of communication which exists between a Christ, a simple man or woman of truth, and you, the willing, the consensual, the dependent believer of myths, superstitions, and the other sundry illusions which affect your worldview. You have sacrificed truth for wanton belief, because it is easier for you to conform to herd thinking than it is to stand alone in truth. By my use of the word Christ, I have exposed the age-old satanic trigger used by the few elitists to control the many through societally based mass mind control. Such limiting mind control techniques amount for the failure of the human being to live fully and lovingly in his own lifetime. Instead, his direct perception of truth, of what is outwardly influenced via the limited concepts of the unnameable supreme intelligence to an organizational, conditioned thought of God, clearly a dead concept, a graven image of a debased, everlasting, divine intelligence. Such reduction of perception relegates the civilized man to the status of slave in the civilized world of his own making, and not that of the master of his own destiny. A Christ is a man or woman of truth, one who has faced such unrelenting satanic conditioning, understood it for what it was, and has thus risen above such superficial, dualistic, opposing thought, the thoughts which bind all common conditionable people into becoming servants and slaves owned by those elitists who control the mass intellect through well-established institutions of propaganda. Reality is forever changed from the perception of the indisputable what is into the arguable and manipulatable satanic, which is the dualistic and opposing nature of the idea of truth. The latter is the foundations of civilized societies throughout the world. The latter is the cause of hell on earth. Thus men have been persuaded to worship Satan, the petty god of intellect, and relinquish their God-given gift of direct perception of truth that of divine awareness. All this for the promise of security, a shallow promise, often offered, but seldom delivered. Thus, such limited, projected, conditionable thought, mistaken for the whole of true reality. This message that I gift you today poses a threat to the existing satanic pattern of human behavior which has been established in a civilized society. This is typical of mass reception of truth in a world of blind believers, unknowingly bound to illusion. The key to the shift from hell on earth to heaven on earth rests in the message of the Christs who exist everywhere, who are simple men and women of truth, who navigate this world on earth, but are not of it. Each of you who have sat through this message so far has been exposed to parts of your consciousness which heretofore remained beyond your comprehension. Pay close attention to your own responses to it, for that is your true spiritual teacher at work. Such a teacher has never left you. It is God, truth itself, which has touched you. It is your own decisions that have created the lives that you now live. Do you learn by them, or have you been overwhelmed by them? Not all of you will get the message. It is for those of you who are ready to make change, real change, in your lives. Others will scorn the simple message of this video. Some may not yet be ready for such liberating truth, but it must be presented to you, for each of you to make that decision. This Christ's message may be fully viewed on my website, arkenterprises.com. It represents 18 years of work on the internet to bring the truth of your true nature to you, and it presents all of the obstacles that were faced in doing so. A Christ, a simple man or woman of truth, is not welcome in a society which is based in satanic conditioning. This much you will see for yourselves.